Bred sneakers since the Bred 4s from the Jordan line came along in 1989. A beautiful sneaker that has retroed 3, 4, 5 different times in the last 30 years, especially last year when I managed to pick up 2 pairs of them. Beautiful shoes, set a sort of iconic standard for the Bred sneaker. Colorway comes across just about any line with Nike and many of the other shoe brands as well. I think there's been KD13s recently. I think there's Paul George's in there as well. And then here we are with the LeBron 18 Bred. And I'm like, yes, Bred, fantastic. It's got to be cool. And yes, as soon as I looked at this shoe, it was like for the first time, I'm not kidding, for the very first time with the LeBron 18, it was like, yes, that's a shoe I can get behind. All the other ones that have come so far, I felt like there wasn't really that, they hadn't really got the shoe yet. They hadn't found their sweet spot yet. I think this is the very first one to find the sweet spot. But where's the red in Bred on this shoe? Isn't this a black and white shoe? Where's the red in there? That's what I was asking myself, and I dug into it and had a look, and I found many places where they could have put red, where they didn't put red, and then a couple of little secret places where they did put red. So without further ado, let's get into this Bred sneaker and have a close-up look at the upcoming release of the Nike Lebron 18 Bred. This is a Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel です。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And LeBron 18s, I'm going to go with 5 so far. I did the LeBron LA's by day, LA's by night, and a couple of other ones. I can't remember the names of them. And all along, you know, I've said the same thing right here. There's my favorite LeBron 17. The LeBron 17s were a great shoe, and it was always going to be a tough act to follow on the 18s, just never quite got there, and it's taken them a while, but you know what, I think they might have done it at last. I think they might have found the right balance of the hits on the shoe with this particular one. It's the first of the LeBron 18 lines that I've looked at and been like, you know what, that might be it. That might be up there where the standard should be with LeBron sneakers, having been up there that high for the entire duration of the LeBron 17s, which is a beautiful shoe. Flawless, if you ask me, to be honest. So here we are with this shoe, and I'm like, yes, great looking shoe. Then I look at the title of it, it says a Bred, and I'm like, there ain't no Bred on that. All I can see is black and white, so is it bite? Is that what you call a black and white shoe, a bite? Or would it be a whack? What, white and black? I don't know. I don't think either of those are going to be shoe names anytime soon. But it says Bred, so I thought I better find out, I better have a look at it. And what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to show you a bunch of places on the shoe that are not red, which could have been red, and they could have been the places that Nike and LeBron said, you know, let's put the red in here, let's put the red in there, and they didn't. And then I'll show you, I think I'm right in saying it's 3 different places on the shoe that have some red in there as well, and then that unique insole too. So we'll get into all that today, and we'll start right now with the places that are not Bred on the shoe, but could have been. And I'm going to start at the front and work my way back, because you know, it's nice to have a bit of order about things. That's how I roll. So we'll go to the very front of the shoe, and you see that black upper on there in the fly knit, beautiful material, great, you know, looking shoe, and you've got the white swoosh on the black, you know, toe box on there, and it's like, yeah, great, that's got good contrast. White on black always pops, but couldn't they have gone with red on here? They chose not to. I'm kind of going to go with this one and say, yeah, you know what, that's actually a pretty good choice. The white on there does pop because it's a Bred shoe, which is generally speaking black, red and white, even though Bred stands for black and red, and having a white swoosh on them, you know, I kind of dig it. It does pop out. If it was red, it might be a little too deep, a bit too close to the black, a bit too hard to see. And we're going to go along the medial side first, and we'll come back to the lateral side in a minute. And I want to go back to the back end of the medial side where the swoosh branding is. One of the things I like about the LeBron 18s is that the major point of swoosh branding is on the medial side, which is the hidden side, the less seen side. I kind of like that in shoes when there's little things hidden in there. And they often play around with this swoosh. If you look at the other shoes that have come out, especially those by night ones, they had a kind of sheen or a double effect or a two-tone colour going on, sort of deep pink and light pink at the same time in one of them. But what they've gone for here, again, is white. And this is a place where I disagree. I think they should have gone with red on the swoosh on the inside edge of these guys. I think that would look good on there, and it would have sort of brought out a bit more Bred on the shoe. And then we're not going to be able to see it properly, but right behind and below that swoosh is some writing that I've never been able to work out what it says. It says something like established in 1980, and then it goes on. Now I think LeBron was born in something like 84, Don't know if I've got that right, but if I haven't got it right, let me know in the comments down below what year he was born in. And I think it says this is the right side of the lateral shoe, the right shoe, the lateral side of the right shoe, where it says established in 1980 something. I've never been able to work out what it says. If you know, let me know in the comments down below. But what I definitely know is on the lateral side of the left shoe, it says Akron, Ohio on there, which is very much LeBron's hometown. And this is another place that could have been red because it's black writing on a black background, making it harder to see. In the case of this one, I kind of like it. I kind of go with the black and black feel here. I think it would have looked a bit clumsy to go with the red in there with that sort of hometown branding on the lateral side of the left shoe. So I'm okay with that. And then we come to my it's one of my favorite design points on 18s. And it's not really something that's talked about by many people. This is just a personal thing. But on the lateral side, there are often, and I'll have to bring up another pair, probably maybe the LA by Days, because there was something really cool about the way this happened. And what it is that the front and the back half of the shoes are different colors, and in the case of these guys you don't see that because it's all black. It's like triple black in a way, but what there is on there is two little panels where what they'll usually do is the front half, if it's black, in the little panel on there they'll make that white, and then on the back half, if that's white, on the little panel there they'll make that black. And this is actually a place where I think they could have played with the red a little bit, and one of those panels, instead of going for that triple black solid black color on there, maybe some white on there, or maybe some red on there, or red in the front and white in the back, or something like that. So hopefully I've been able to explain that and show you it clearly enough here, that kind of detail, that kind of positioning on there, which could have been red. Now I'm going to be 50-50 on that. I'm not sure. Other places I'm sure, yes, good decision not to go red, or no, they should have gone red. But here I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. But it's a cool little place, a cool bit, little detail on the branding and the design of LeBron 18s. And that's the sort of overall of the shoe, where there are places they could have gone red and they didn't. But now there's 3 places that they did go red on that we need to get into, and this allows it to be called a Bred sneaker, although the red is very much the third color at play on this black and white shoe. And what we're going to do is we're going to go bottom to top this time instead of going front to back, and we'll start with the outsole. A very simple white outsole. Sometimes these days you get extremely colourful outsoles all over the place on shoes, but they've gone with that very simple white outsole, and then right down the middle of it, those sort of hollowed out areas there in black and red. So the hits of colour in black and red on the outsole, but predominantly it's a white outsole. But there is your first true hit of red on these shoes. And then there's another place as you come a bit higher and you go to the tongue system on these guys, because at first look, you'd look at this and you'd be like, they're white air units. There's always 3 air units running up the tongue on LeBron 18s, and this looks like they're white, but actually if you zoom in, I'll zoom in on the middle one first because it isn't red, but what is on there is a sort of stamp of air, to go with these Zoom Air sneakers, I think is the branding on these guys, but it's not red on that middle air unit in the tongue. But if you go down from that, what's clearly red is the bottom air unit on there, and you can see that extra hit of color on there too. Now my favorite bit though is on the top one of these 3 air units, and you can see there's something going on in there that looks like 2 red eyes looking at, but it's very subdued, very low down. It's not at all in your face and sort of jumping off at you. But again, it's the 2 hits of red in the top air unit and the bottom air unit on the tongue that gives you that Bred feel to the shoe. And then the final place before we get to those funky insoles is on the back of the shoe with the pull tabs on the back in very red again. And we'll be looking at that here, and it's overall a very black back end to the sneaker. Even though there's lots of branding on there, it's black on black branding. So instead of having red on black or white and black, it's a very black back end to the shoe, except for those red pull tabs there. But when you think about that, red pull tabs, a couple of hits of colour in those air units on the tongue, and then the outsole with a couple of hits of colour too. Red is very much the third colour on this black and white shoe, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't actually stay with Bred, and if they go with a different colourway and they call it something other than Bred, because there just isn't enough red on these guys to call it Bred, and it would be a bit cheeky to all the other Bred sneakers out there to do that, I think. And then the last thing to do is to look at not the outsole, we've already done that, the insole, because there's a lot of equations going on in here, and I was really excited by this and a little bit disappointed, frankly. I love it. I think it looks very cool, and I was expecting it to tell a Bred story, but what it actually just tells is a LeBron 18 story, and it's the idea of there's 3 different things in there. I can't remember what they are, but you'll be able to see them. But it's like power, speed, and I don't know, accuracy or something like that. I can't remember what the three are, but you've got the equations for that on there. Is it speed equals distance over time? It's the one that most of us will remember, and then the three other equations there, and the idea is that those three things come together to make King James and to make the LeBron 18 sneaker. Very cool design, very cool kind of story, but I just don't feel like it has anything to do with a Bred shoe, and I'm not sure if these insoles are on all LeBron 18s or if it's just a specific feature of these guys. But then if it is just these guys, why did they put it on the shoe and it doesn't have anything to do with the Bred narrative? So, but still, it's a very cool feature, and it's great that we can see it this way without having to peer down from above and try and get a sneak peek. Instead, it's a full frontal, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, that's it from me. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of these guys, because the 18s have been so much in the shadow of the 17s, and I feel like this is the first one to sort of step out on its own. Let me know in the comments down below if you think so too, what you think of these LeBron 18 Breds, and if you think it is a bit cheeky to call them Bred, and whether they'll call them that in the drop when it comes in a few days time, like December the 4th, and this video is probably going to go up on November the 28th, about a week ahead of time, which is just where I like my shoes to be. So so in a week's time, if you're looking to get them, it's a very big yes from me. Okay, that's time for me to sign off. It's the end of this video for this for today. We're getting very, very close to the second year anniversary of the daily drops, moving into year 3 of daily drops at the channel. Still haven't missed a single day yet. Touch wood, fingers crossed and all that. And fingers crossed, like I say, we'll keep on doing that. And because I'm doing that every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.